Let's jump straight into the story of the day, which is rolling in tomorrow on the Australian Boom Time for Middle Australia. The past 5 years have been revealed as a period of booming prosperity for Middle Australia, with census data showing the average Australian's income increasing by 20% between 2016 and 2021. Or at twice the pace of living costs. The median weekly income lifted from $662 in 2016 to $805, or the equivalent to $41,900 a year, according to the Australian Bureau of Statistics. Caro, it's been a big day for numbers nerds and stats nerds like myself. What did you make of the census data that was handed down today and the way that we are continuously unpicking it even into this evening?
Oh, we're going to be unpicking it for a while, Jenna. There is just so much there, and there's so many parts of the data which are correlative or causative. It's really interesting to see how bits and pieces fit together and how much Australia has changed even just over the course of the last 5 years. This point here about the increase in wages, income is really interesting. The other thing that is really interesting is when we look at one of the other pages that'll be coming up, we talk about mortgage stress is increasing even though interest rates are still low. So yes, living costs may not have risen as much, but I think housing costs and obviously the cost of servicing a mortgage has. And in fact, someone tweeted today that the median house price in Sydney is now 14.7 times, I think it was, the median income in Sydney. So you know, there's more than one way to slice and dice this.
Yeah, indeed. Now, Gideon, this type of stuff is your bread and butter at the IPA. What did you make of it?
Well, just on the point about incomes rising, look, I'd like to think we will, but I'm not sure we'll be having a similar conversation in 5 years' time, given that the good times have ended with the era of cheap money, given that we're about to see inflation soar, given that we're about to see enormous mortgage stress from rising interest rates. But what gets me is that incomes are rising, but the census also says that the wealthiest people by a good measure in Australia are from, you guessed it, Canberra. So how much of those rising wages, how much of that largesse is because of government payment to armies of staff and bureaucrats and workers and things like that, rather than organic wage growth in the private sector and growing prosperity in this country? I think that's what we have to take a good hard look at, because government just robbing Peter to pay Paul, I don't think is a very good recipe for national prosperity.
Indeed.